Hi, now that you've made your Google form, I wanted to show some ways to grade with it. We had talked about setting up our Google form in the form of a quiz so it can grade this for me. I went ahead and I'm using a form that has both multiple choice and short answer because that's a question I hear a lot is how am I going to do the short answers? I went ahead on release grade and chose later after manual review, which does turn on your email collection, so you can email your responses back. These are all samples, so they are just my email, so that's not going to work for me to show you because it's just going to email me a bunch. But you will collect all of your students' emails when you do this, and you can email them back their responses at a later time after you have already gone over it and hand graded. If I only had multiple choice, I would choose immediately after each submission, and the students see their scores as soon as they are done, which is great feedback for them. So here I have my form, and you can see this is the question side, and then I see my responses tab, and I have 5 responses. I can click on this, and what I'm greeted with is the summary view, which shows me point distribution, frequently missed questions. I had asked names, so here are the names, but then I can scroll down and see individual questions and see the bar graph for them. You'll have to ignore the snoring. My dog is sleeping here right next to me. The bar graphs show me who got the correct answer and who got the incorrect answer. I use this a lot when I give out bell work. I make my bell work on forms. This is actually one of them. And then on the board, when we are all finished, we review the scores and talk about the problems. So they get some feedback of why they got a wrong answer or whatever. It doesn't show the student names. It doesn't single out anybody for missing anything. So that's a really beneficial thing. Now down here, I do have some short answer. They had to write sentences for this one, and they had to give me 2 things in this one. And that's something I heard a lot about. How do I give point? I want to give 1 point if they have 1 correct answer, 2 points if they have 2 correct answers. I'll show you how to do that on this. If I were just sharing this with my class, I could go through here and just pick out a couple and explain the answers to them on the board. I could go down here and obviously I'd have like 20 answers. And so you'd see a lot of the correct answer over and over, and we could talk about what was correct and then what wouldn't have counted. Again, no individual student names here, so it's not singling anybody out. Well, let's say this is actually something that I need to grade. One way to grade it would be up here at the top. There's a little green button that says View Responses and Sheets. When I choose that, it will help me make a spreadsheet that has all my responses. Here's where my email addresses would be. They would all be the same one because these are fake students. Right here, I'm seeing a score. It is not their final score. This is just the score of the multiple choice that it already graded for me. If you didn't have Google grade it for you, you can use the add-on Flubaroo. You would enable it and go through and pick an answer key. So preferably you would have taken the quiz as well, and so you could use your answers as the key. And it will do basically the same thing you have here. You still have to manually grade these 2. A couple of ways to do that if I wanted to stay in forms. One thing I like to do is I can hold the control button and then I can click on anything that is incorrect. And those are the only things selected. And I can change the fill color to something. I'll change it to red. And I know those are the ones that aren't going to get points. So this person gets 1 point here, 2 points here, 1 point here, 2 points here. This person gets 1 point but misses the 2. This one misses both. So that's one way to do it. There is still no way for me to mark it in such a way where maybe I could give them a credit for a noun or give them credit for a verb but not the noun. So how would I do that? Well, if you go back here and click on the individual tab under Google Forms, now I'm seeing individual papers. So this is the first student, Wally Wallerton. So far he's got 4 points out of multiple choice, but he still has 3 points down here unaccounted for. So I'm going to scroll down to the short answer that wasn't graded before, and he did write a complete sentence here, so I'm going to give him a point. and that will change his score up above. Down here, he got both points, subject and predicate. So I'm going to go ahead and reward him with 2. And then I'm going to click Save. It will take me up to the top, and you can see now his score has changed, and he has 7 out of 13. I can use this to go to student 2, or I can just use the arrow and go to next response. And now I'm on the next student. So again, I can scroll down, and this is not a correct answer, so it is going to stay at 0. And then this is the answer that maybe I want to go ahead and give 1 point because it was sort of right, but I really needed to see subject and predicate, not noun and verb. So I can click Save. So he got 1 out of 2. And you can see his score changed. I can go on to the next student. And so I can go through my whole class that way and add those responses. When I have them all finished, I can release those scores to them. If I had the email addresses collected on all of them. So this one actually has the email still on here. When I get through with it, this one's wrong and this one's sort of okay. When I get done with it and I click Save, I can release the score. So I would click Release Score, and I would have all the email addresses here. Again, I just turned it on to get the result. And I would send the emails and release the score. They would get an email with their quiz. If I chose that they could see what was wrong, they will see that in their email. Or if I chose they could not see their wrong answers, they would only see their final score. So that is how you can choose to grade and grade for answers that maybe have multiple points. Obviously, it does take a little bit more time. It doesn't grade automatically, but it is a way to do that and to not have to resort to using paper. So that is a great compromise for at least right now. Hopefully there will be some time in the future where you can designate on Google Forms that you want to give a single point for one thing and a single point for another, but right now you can't. So using the individual settings and going down and changing those scores yourself are the good way to do that. I hope this helps you as you continue working with Google Forms and it gives you some ideas of ways that you can grade. Let me know in comments below if you have any questions about this. Let me know if you want me to cover something else, and I will gladly make a video for it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.